Hey everyone, Ruben here. So I wanted to talk a second about the e-collars that we like to use in our training program. Specifically, mostly the board and train program, but we do have our advanced off-leash training, which goes into layering the e-collar over the known commands that your dog had learned through the on-leash basics portion. But we're not going to get into the on-leash basics. We're just going to be focusing on the e-collar and how that works. So the brand that we like to use is from a company called ecollar Technologies. This here is the box. This is my dog's personal box, Oso and Lucy, but it's the mini educator, okay? Now, since this remote has come out, there's been a few iterations of some different style remotes for them. One of them was like a finger click. We don't have that one. And another one is a longer wand style remote, and that one's called the EZ series. And that's a really nice remote too. I find it very helpful for people with smaller hands because the knob to dial up is on the side rather than up here on the top, okay? So, we use these collars for a couple of reasons. One of them is that it has 100 levels, so there's a lot of variability between the levels. Some other collars only have, say, like 15 levels, or they have like 7 levels with dashes in between each one, you know, so it's like 7 medium or 7 low, medium and high, and things like that, right? In our experience, I've used collars like that in the past, and you know, from myself feeling the collar, if the lower numbers, they feel a little hot, and there's also not a lot of variability between those levels. And so with this one here, you know, level 1 to 2, I mean, it's very subtle. Even 1 to 5, it's a very subtle and it's gradual climbing, right? So it's not very abrupt between like 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, things like that. So there's a lot of room to talk to the dog. The other thing is the technology that is found inside this collar. So some older shock collars are actually that is a shock collar, and they deliver a different kind of sensation to the dog. Whereas this one is more akin to a chiropractic TENS unit, or even those little ab machines that you may have seen online where you stick the little probes on your stomach and they'll turn it up and it, like, you know, stimulates the muscle in your stomach. But these are all, like I said, these are like a TENS unit that you would find at the chiropractor's office. And so I have in the past, but you can put these on stiff muscles and you can start low and then roll your way up, and you can start to alleviate some pain in the muscles back there, right? So, you know, we like it because it's not a shock to the dog, and it's something that we're always telling folks. It's like language matters, right? And if we think we're shocking our dog, we're not going to use the tool to its fullest extent on communicating with our dog, right? And so, you know, something to think about too, you know, it's like, this is called low-level e-collar training. And so what that means is when we're working with the dog, we try to find that lowest possible level that they perceive. So most of the time it starts inside the facility, you know, or if you're in your home, it's going to start inside the home, and you're going to find that lowest level that your dog perceives. And so that might be like a 3, 4, it's usually under an 8. But now every time you change the context, you know, you start to add distractions and things like that, that number is going to change. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like hotter than what it was before, because your dog's state of mind is going to dictate what this is like. And it's likely if there's a trigger around, they're just not going to feel a 4. That's not where their head is. And so maybe you do got to go to a 10 or a 15 or a 20. But the where your dog's head is at, it's like that 20 is going to be like the 4 where there was no distractions around. So it's something we always tell our clients is like, don't pay attention to the number, pay attention to your dog, because they're going to tell you what's working and what isn't working. So, more about the e-collar, right? It's like the reason why we even get into this is so that we can get off leash with our dogs. Dogs are very smart animals, and if they know that we don't have a leash on them, they know inherently that they can push boundaries. They have a little bit more leeway to do things because we lack the ability to talk to our dogs, right? So the remote collar is a half-mile thing. And yes, we need to teach our dog what this thing means because they don't inherently know it. And so everything is done on a leash, but the goal is to eventually remove that leash. And then this is going to be our invisible leash. So up to a half-mile long, I can tap my dog on the shoulder and they know to come. When we're conditioning this tool without even saying anything, I can tap the remote and they're going to instinctively look to me and come to me without even saying anything. Right? So it's really just an invisible leash that allows us to talk to the dog up to a half-mile away. Now, there's some certain differences on this collar that come than the ones that you would get stock at the from the company. And so these are things that we include on all of our collars when we're giving them out to clients, right? So one of them is this bungee strap collar here. So this bungee strap here compensates for the dog's neck. So when your dog is excited, their necks are going to expand, and when they relax, they're going to contract. And so what happens in that moment is if you're using just the regular collar that comes with it, it could be fit nicely when you first put it on them, but as they start to relax, it's going to loosen up, and then you might have to mess with it some more, or that's also going to hinder contact on your dog. So we use this bungee cord. This is called the metal quick snap bungee collar. And like I said, it has this cool little bungee on here to compensate for that expanding and contracting. The other thing that we utilize, so it's not always necessary on the dogs, but if you have like a long-haired dog, so I have a blue heeler, Lucy, and then a French bulldog, Oso. His fur is different than Lucy's. And so actually, for Oso, I have these longer haired contact points. So it's like, it really helps to get through the fur. If you got a really short haired, like a pitty, for example, or, boxer or something like that, the regular probes that come with this should suffice, okay? Or even like a little comfort pad like this. But this here is called, these are long-haired contact points. And there's another style as well that are for really long-haired dogs, like Huskies and German Shepherds and things like that. And they look a little bit different, but they operate on that same premises. But like I said, it really helps with the contact and ensuring that your dog is going to be feeling the collar at the lowest, levels possible, right? But again, don't get married to those numbers. The other thing about this collar is it's fully waterproof, so your dog can go swimming with it. It does take down the stimulation a little bit, so if your dog is swimming away from you, you might need to dial up a little bit more to recall them into you. All right, you got a charger port in the back. It lasts about 3 days without a charger, but we always tell all our clients to charge it up every night when you go to bed, so this way it's just charged up and ready to go and it's not dead when you need it, right? The other thing, just to keep in mind too, right, is like this collar is like a biothane, right? So it's kind of like a rubber. So if your dog does go swimming with this on, you're gonna want to take it off of them, let them fully dry off before putting it back on, as the rubber is not going to allow for any water to dissipate. We also tell our clients to switch the collar side from side to side every 3 to 4 hours or so. And the reason for that is just if the collar's sitting in one spot for too long, it can cause irritation. So we like to switch it up if your dog is going to be wearing their collar for extended periods of time, which might be necessary, right? It's always dependent on your dog, but your dog might have to wear the tool, whenever they're out of the crate, because you need to be able to talk to them and be in a good position to talk to them, right? Unless you want to put a leash on them or something like that, okay? As with everything, the tools always come off inside the crate, so they don't need to be wearing this on. But again, that's going to be dependent on your dog, because you can also use this in such a way as like a bark collar, or even just like to help soothe them if they are getting into an anxious cycle. But you know, before you start getting into all of that, it's very important to do some training with your dog to get them literate on this tool. Because again, the dogs don't come out of the box knowing how this works, right? We have to give meaning to this, just like we have to give meaning to our words: good, yes, nope, sit, down, place, come. You know, we have to create meaning for those, and we have to do the same thing with this. Like I said, on your dial here, you've got 100 levels. So this is your dial up, okay? And it goes from 1 to 100, 100 being the highest. We've got an on-off button back here. We've also got a light switch, right? So if we tap the button, right? Oh, let me turn this on. But if we hit this button here in the back, oh, hit the wrong thing again. Got a nice little light right here. So this is really cool for at nighttime when you're out with your dogs. It's got a vibration setting on here. We don't use that. It just tends to freak dogs out. We typically just use the button on what's called the continuous mode. So it's either I can press and hold the button. So for teaching, it's like press and hold, and they can stay on for 10 seconds. And then when we start getting into more advanced things, we can also just tap the remote. And this would be more when your dog knows it and we're not teaching them what that sensation means anymore, right? Just like on your collar here, you've got a charger port in the back, and again, you want to charge it up every night before you go to bed, so this way it's just charged and ready to go. Another thing that we offer everybody is this little magnet on the back. So it's a part of a holster system, so I can, you know, if I had magnets right here, I can just stick it on my body, you know, stick it on my pocket, stick it in my jacket, my purse, what have you. And it's always on me, right? So I can run with it, I can do a bunch of things with it, I can just have it on me so it's here, but it's not on a little lanyard thing with the remote swinging around, because then we could move it out of the way. And then our dog is barking at the window, and we're like, where's the remote? I need to call the dog away from the window. And you know, we can't, because the remote is buried under a pile of laundry, okay? So that is like the basic functions of the ecollar. So again, this is the mini educator from ecollar Technologies, all right? You can go on there and you can check them out. They have a bunch of different systems. There's 3-dog systems, 4-dog systems, 2-dog systems. This one here is a 2-dog system. So 1 dog is on the red and 1 dog is on the black, and there's corresponding collar colors to that. So there's a red collar and then this black collar here. And the mini educator, I believe, now ranges for retails for $199.99. I believe the EZ educator model is like $220, and then they just go up from there, you know, 4-dog units, 3-dog units, and things like that. You can get different customized face plates for these if you want to. Like I said, they also have different contact points that you can get, different collars, yeah, all kinds of different accessories for that. You know, so again, it's like just whatever you might need it for, you know, what your needs are specific for your dogs. And yeah, I think that's about all I have for that. That is the mini educator. ecollar Technologies is a great company, very high quality products here. So, you know, when you're training your dog, don't skimp on that stuff. You know, quality matters, and it's going to definitely make a difference in, I think, how your dog even perceives this tool, right? So spare the cheapo ones that you might find on other websites and things like that, and you know, spend a little bit of money. It's going to last you a long time, and you're going to be much happier with this product than anyone else. All right, so yeah, hope you enjoy, and happy training. Bye.